So you got to come all the way to Denver, Colorado to hang out with people from Pella, Iowa. That kind of makes sense to me. That's the way the motor racing world works. This is one gorgeous, I gotta say it looks Trick, if you don't mind me saying that. The Trick Tools, Bailey Industries Trans Fluid Pro Stock motorcycle of Chase Van Sant and his dad, who used to race. Bruce, how long ago has it been since you raced?
I ended in 2000, so 23 years ago.
So it's not his fault, because a lot of times dads quit because their kid takes the hot rod.
It was really to focus on business and family, to try to figure out how to make money to support this habit. So
he makes it sound like it's a habit you got on your own.
I know,
Jason,
right?
Like,
yeah, like I wasn't born into it.
It's genetic, right?
Yeah.
So Pella, Iowa is one of the most beautiful cities in America.
Wow.
Well, it's the truth. And my friends always tell me, from there, if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much. Isn't that what people say?
Yeah.
So Eddyville must have a really strong drag racing culture, Chase, because there's some good teams come out of there.
Yeah. Eddyville is it's a good place in Iowa, at least. It's one of the nicest tracks, I think, in the Midwest as far as 8th mile racing goes and bracket racing, and it gets a lot of pull from a lot of different states. I know weekly people and have made friends in Missouri that make the drive up and come, and it's their home track, and so it's a cool place. It draws from a lot of different places too. But yeah, having Knoxville and Oski and Eddyville, all within 25 minutes of my house, it does feel like there's a pretty strong racing culture, even though Pella's kind of Dutch and it doesn't necessarily embrace the racing culture itself, but we kind of try and bring a little bit in.
Windmill, not wheels.
Yeah.
There is a tumwa. Don't forget a tumwa.
Oh, yeah.
Because us Aussies, the only reason we know about a tumwa, you're too young to know the TV show MASH, but you're not, Bruce.
Yeah.
So that's where Radar O'Reilly was fictitiously from.
That's right.
And no one he doesn't live there. He lives in Florida. Anyway.
Tommy Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Top fuel pilot.
Yes, you were telling me that. So Pro Stock motorcycle, it's not an easy class to get into and ride.
No.
You're in your rookie season, Chase. What made you go Pro Stock? Was it because Dad always wanted to and didn't? Elephant in the room. Yeah.
It's just, as far as like motorcycle drag racing goes, it's just the pinnacle of the sport. These are the best of the best, and to be here doing this, it's something that I've wanted to do forever, and so. To have the opportunity now, it makes it super special that I get to do it with my dad and with Trick Tools and some of the companies that we have, and to kind of be at the top of the game. It's like you finally feel like you've achieved some of your goals, but now that you're here, it's like just being here isn't quite enough. You want to win and you want to do all this stuff. So it's fun to be here, and I definitely try not to take any of it for granted. But it's while we're here, it's definitely like you're at work and you're doing everything you can, because it's not inexpensive to do this. It costs a lot of money, and there's a lot of people with a lot of skin in the game, so you try and do your best and do everything you can to make it work and be at the top level. So
when I think of Pro Stock cars and I think of Pro Stock motorcycle, I think precision.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to be so good with your gears. I always think that the Pro Stock guys must be like, nah, those other guys don't know how to change gears like we do. If you miss a gear change or a rev range, it's game over, right?
Yeah, especially first gear or down track. If I miss a shift by 200-300 RPM, that could cost me a race very, very easily. So it's like I have about 100 RPM window of where I can hit a shift, and it happens fast because we have, there's 6 gears. I hit the button 5 times the shift in 6 seconds. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening really quick, and it's all about consistency and communicating with the team and making sure the shift light's coming on and we're all comfortable, and I can basically just go out there and repeat. That's the big thing with Pro Stock and Pro Stock motorcycle, is like you just have to be able to go out and do the same thing. That way the crew chief can tune it, to the best of his ability. I basically just have to try and be a robot. That's my job.
Wow. Okay. That's Tony Bockhoven was the guy that put me in touch with you guys. He's very, very proud Pella man. Yeah. Hopefully the future mayor of that beautiful city one day. And he's ultimately very proud of the Eddyville culture. There has to be a drag racing culture in a city. I think people don't just grow up in a town that has nothing to do with drag racing and go on to become elite.
Yeah, well, there's, I don't know how. It's definitely a tight-knit group of people at Eddyville, and there's a huge support base for us there too. I mean, we love to go down there and still race. We're putting on a all motorcycle race in August down there, actually, and but people are so supportive. There's actually several people traveling out here to Denver, 12 hours away to watch this weekend because it's one of the closer events. So we get tons of support and kind of have a pretty close family back there at Eddyville Dragway, and we know the owner Gerald, and it's just there's a lot of connections. It's pretty cool.
So you're one of 3 boys. Are you the only one that spends your mum and dad's money like this?
Yeah.
Well, I just just want to break it down.
Yeah.
What do the other 2 do? Do they make money or something like that, and you spend it? Is that how it works?
Yeah, they do make money. One of my little brother actually works at Trick Tools too.
Nice.
I do too. So he helps, make the business money so I can go out and spend it doing this. No, it's cool. They're actually, they also both work at a church. So my older brother is a worship leader, and he does a lot. He's full-time staff there. So does a lot with youth missions, and kind of wears a lot of different hats there. And they're both on the worship team, and yeah, that's kind of their gig. They got the musical itch from my dad, and I didn't get that quite as much. So they're doing some really cool things at home, and it just so happens that my cool thing I get to do on TV, and that's really cool too. But theirs is ultimately a little bit more important than what I'm doing out here.
There's a great connection with you with Australia too, Bruce. Which
Yeah.
I was thrilled to hear about. You've been to, you said Brisbane, right? Which thrilled me to start with.
Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne and
Bathurst.
Bathurst is where we purchased a company from a friend of mine there. We own the multi-tool grinder company now, which is there's thousands of them. I think they're in every garage in Australia.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So it's a great tool, been really grateful to have a friendship with my friend Alan Cunningham there, and he's kind of showed us around, and we've driven around Mount Panorama and have a lot of good connections there as well.
So Bruce, you and I share a common passion. Our favorite movie is The World's Fastest Indian.
Yeah.
And that really typifies the friendship between our countries. And I don't know, has he made you watch that movie?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
we own it.
I'm not Burt Munro. I just want to clarify that. He was some crazy old Kiwi. But there is a beautiful cultural exchange between our countries.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we seem to be kindred spirits.
It's a huge connection, and for Trick Tools as well. Like other than Canada, Australia is our second biggest country that we export to.
Yeah,
so,
right.
of all the other places in the world, Australia definitely stands out for us. Motorsports, and there just seems to be a spirit of do it yourself, build it, don't buy it, all that kind of mentality that makes racing such a fun thing.
You got a busy couple of weeks coming up, mate. Heading over to Seattle. We're hoping it won't rain, and then Pomona, and so there's a lot of travel involved.
Yeah, a lot of travel. So I'll basically get 2 full days at home in between each race, these next 3. And this is one of the only 3-week spans that we have in a row. So we'll have one kind of out east later in the year during the countdown to the championship, and this is the first one. So this is new to me, but yeah, it's going to be exciting. I've been looking forward to this month for a really long time, just because usually we have 2 or 3 weeks in between races, and it's a lot of time away from the motorcycle and off the bike. And so now to have 3 weeks in a row where I get to go and just make laps, that's a big deal, because we don't just get to go out and practice on these like we do, in motocross or whatever. You can't just fire up the bike and go ride it down the road and go tear through a cornfield or something. It's a little bit more precise than that. So no, just getting the laps 3 weeks in a row, that's going to be a big deal for me.
I'm really excited to meet you guys. I'm really grateful for Tony to reach out and tell me to catch up with you, because we're all in this together, whether you're going in a straight line or my buddy Phil Reed, who races Top Fuel in Australia, said if I can turn a corner, I'm not going fast enough. That's that's the way he takes on my sprint cars. But it's cool. Pella and Knoxville and Iowa, IOWA basically, is my favorite state in America, and that's because of the people. So good luck this weekend.
Yeah,
it's really great to see you. This thing is a gorgeous looking piece, trick looking bike, isn't it? I'll see you back in Iowa at some point, right?
Yeah. We'll get some lunch, go to Knoxville, do something. So.
We need to go to the Craig Ford always takes me to the country club for lunch to get a sandwich there. So we need to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great to see you guys.
All right.